Okay, buddy, I got some bad news.
Oh no, what's wrong, man?
Oh, we can't do the you're recording bit anymore because we already did it twice, and I feel like
Oh no.
people are gonna start thinking it's kind of overused.
That's not a good thing. But since we're not recording now, let me tell you about I actually shaved my pubes for the first time in like 20 years the other day. So, are we actually recording this? Oh
Yeah.
crap.
Oh man.
Damn it. Why would you leave the recorder on?
Hey everybody, welcome
Why?
back to Acting 101. And scene.
Welcome to Shitty Improv. Only the Trash Talk Podcast.
Hello everybody, welcome back. I am your first host, Emilio, and I'm here with
I am your
Pixel Man.
second and better host, Rian. I thought you were going to say Pube Man at first. I was so glad that I was wrong. Thank goodness.
So hey, what's up everybody? Long time no see.
Yep, it has been a minute since we've recorded one of these, I must be honest. It's been, at the time of this recording, like a few weeks
Yeah.
or so. It's been like 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
What I do usually is that I stack up recordings, and then when I only have one episode left, I call Ryan and I'm like, bro, we gotta record an episode.
Recording podcast again. Because I think for you guys who've seen like the past few episodes go up, those ones were like recorded a long while ago. Not a long while, but like several weeks back. We recorded those.
Yeah, just so you
At
get
least
an
the ones that have
idea.
come out so far.
Today is the 20th of September, so.
The time I'm recording this now, today.
But I don't know. What do you want to
But,
talk
yeah.
about?
So
This video's gonna
going
come
into
out
this
in February, so we're gonna talk about Valentine's Day. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, oh, that's right. First off, Valentine's Day, very, very sensitive day for me personally. I currently, right now, do not have a lover in my life outside of Emilio, of course. Our marriage is still due at some point. But other than that, though, my Valentine's Day is still ruined because I don't have any chocolates to give you. So I'm very sorry, Emilio.
I'm pissed.
Nonetheless, though,
I do have a topic,
in
actually.
in all transparency, we had no idea what the hell to talk about before we started recording this. But I guess we're just kind of at this point.
Yeah.
So let's let our improv skills do the job.
I actually
think of
do
something.
have a topic. I'm glad you mentioned the whole fact that you're single.
Okay.
Because it gives me a perfect segue. So you've all heard...
Into
You guys have all heard about the bet. The bet. There's going to be a cool graphic there. It's going to be the bet, and it's like explosions. Look, here's the new intro about the bet. The bet.
you
Wow.
just leave some kind of like JPEG in the background or or just like a GIF watermark when you do it.
It's not a GIF. It's a
That'd be
GIF.
hilarious.
Anyways.
Hey, it's a GIF. Get your back.
Do you say, oh, I'm giving you a gift for Christmas? No, you're saying I'm giving you a gift. Or do you say,
peanut butter?
I don't have
I'm giving you a GIF. You're giving them peanut butter.
I don't have a girlfriend.
I don't have a
Anyways,
jewel friend. I'm not about that smoke life.
you guys have all heard about the bet. The bet. Anyways. The bet.
At least you should have if you've been keeping up with the podcast, of course.
Yeah.
If you haven't, look back at our past recordings and watch the episodes.
Our audience actually has grown a lot off of YouTube. Fun fact.
Has it actually?
Yeah.
I actually haven't heard about these stats.
Our second...
And
It's going to be a surprise because the second country where they listen to us the most is Ireland. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Ireland.
I'm surprised. I mean, the
Hello,
U.S.
our Irish brethren.
The U.S. is obviously the first place.
Yeah.
But Ireland, surprise, you know?
Yeah, that is surprising, actually. Ireland, of all places.
Shout out to
So
Ireland.
shout out to our... Yeah, Ireland and every other country that isn't Ireland. Screw you. Watch this podcast.
Yeah. So as all of our Irish listeners are aware of, apparently.
I love your potatoes.
Yeah, I love whiskey.
I love potatoes.
For some reason, they love the vasectomy episode over there. I don't know.
Oh my god. Wait, hold on. That leads me to this question then. How cheap are vasectomies in Ireland? Makes me wonder how popular they are in Ireland.
Send us a voice memo over there. Anyways, so you guys have heard about the bet. Bet. Every time we say the bet, we have to say it like that now. Anyways, so you guys heard about the bet. If you don't know what it is, it's basically me and Ryan, we were both single, and to motivate ourselves to get out there, we decided, please turn off your notifications.
It is not about my notification, just your face.
Anyways, we made a bet. The first person to get into a relationship and bring their partner to the Trash Talk podcast gets to post a video on the other person's channel. And if your romantic partner survives the Trash Talk podcast, it means that you guys can survive everything.
Exactly. If you can make it through an episode of this, then you're guaranteed to be married for the rest of your days.
Although what could also happen is that since I take so long editing these, it could happen like we post a video and they already broke up.
We just broke up. Like the podcast is completely outdated by the time you actually edit posting it.
It's like, and the next episode is update. I broke up with them.
That'll just be the title of the next podcast. We just start recording. It's like, hey, dude, yeah, you know my girlfriend? Yeah, we broke up.
And welcome back to the Trash Talk podcast.
And welcome back to the Trash Talk podcast.
But
it's like, wait, does that mean we still have to do the punishment for whoever, if it's me or you?
Yeah, I guess. Like, even if they break up after the, yeah. But anyways, do you have any updates on how you're doing with the bet? The bet.
Let me tell you, I tried getting like 5 or 6 girls on there, but they took, and you know what, we had good conversations, we went out to movies, we went out to dinner, when all that stuff opened up. We ended up going out in like some great moonlight, travels. We went and saw the world. We actually went and visited the Lego Museum of all places.
Wow.
It was actually, yeah, she was really into Lego as it turns out. It was a fantastic trip.
That's a winner.
Unfortunately, when they asked why I really wanted them, it wasn't because I loved them or because I wanted to marry them. I was like, look, I'm just using you for a bet. And I showed them this podcast, and they took off running, and I still had to pay the Lego Museum fee. Do you know how expensive it is to get into the Lego Museum and be rejected? Turns out they have a rejection love fee or some shit like that, wow. Which is like $25,000. So just stack that onto my growing alimony debt, because now I don't have a girl to bring on this podcast. So, unfortunately, it's not going that well on my end. What about you?
Not great either. That's it. I don't have an actual fake story, but
hey, it's real to me, man. That alimony debt every day.
No, I mean, like, if we're talking for realsies, though. No, I
don't have any actual updates.
I don't have any updates. Like, I've talked to some girls, but I'm like, it's already hard enough to get them to go out with me, and then, it's like,
much less bring them onto a podcast of all things, which is weird. Because if you're like, listen, I know that we're getting together for a serious relationship, but can you help me win this bet against my friend? Here's our podcast that we do. Could you do that for me, please? Just come on here.
There's this guy that lives 1,000,000 miles from my house, but I really need to beat him. I've never met this
person. That I really need to beat in a bet so I can post a video on his YouTube channel.
It's just going to be a video of me explaining the Hong Kong situation. That'll be like a super curveball to your followers. It's like, what?
Oh my god. Be like, who's this guy? Why is he talking about Hong Kong?
But anyways.
Why does he have hair?
Anyways, guys, this is not about the bet. We will try to keep you updated anytime something happens.
If there's, i.e., both of us get rejected and this bet goes absolutely nowhere. But we'll still tell you about it anyway.
Hopefully, I'm betting for 2022. Someone's gonna win the bet.
No. You're bet.
Oh yeah, the bet. Anyways,
So you can't forget that.
since the bet, it's gonna take forever, I introduced to you all the bet 2.0. The bet
What are you
2.0.
doing, man?
So this week, I think the NFL season kicked off, right? So I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
I've heard about NFL.
for you, those of you who don't know, the NFL is the National Freaky Losers, and it's very exciting.
Wow. Yeah, this is the best organization I've ever heard of. Honestly,
We're
I'm
both
glad you said
members,
freaky.
actually. No.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Well, actually, that's true. We got kicked out of the KKK not too long ago, so thankfully, the Cool Kids Club, for those of you
Yeah.
who didn't know. So now we're a part of this organization.
anyways, no, but for real, the NFL is the National Football League. And since we have a lot of audience
And if you
from
haven't heard of
Ireland, we have to explain that it's.
Which they would. I suppose you wouldn't know then if you're not from the States.
I know, and I'm not from
or
the States.
nearby the States. Yeah, but Mexico and Canada are two countries that are close enough to the point where they would know about that kind of thing.
From Alaska.
If you live in like Australia, are you going to care about? That's part of them. That's part of the United
Oh,
States.
man.
That's one of the 50 states.
Anyways,
I think it's like Hawaii doesn't know what the NFL is, but they're part of the states.
but yeah, the NFL season kicked off, and I am a man of culture, and I root for the Green Bay Packers. And Ryan,
Well,
he
he's
didn't
not a man
receive
of culture.
he didn't receive basic education, so he roots for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I do root for the Pittsburgh. They're
So
my
I
favorite.
had a bet.
You have another bet.
The bet 2.0. Oh.
The bet 2.0. Oh, yeah. Damn it! You stole it. You stole it when I was going to do it.
So
Thank you. All
I
right,
had
what's
this
the bet?
idea for weeks. Since
This is
it's
good.
basically the same prize, but who's ever like if the Packers make it the furthest into the season, I win. And the same thing goes. Who's ever team makes it closest to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
And the penalty for whoever loser has to upload a video that the other person makes on their channel.
yeah, and I did think of this if. For example, both of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Packers go out on the same round, or don't even make it to the playoffs, which is tradition for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And the Packers, of course.
No.
They always pack their bags before the season starts.
Well, yeah, because we got to win all those games on the road. You guys
Nah, 'cause
wouldn't
they
know
just
how
know
it
they're
is.
going to lose. They don't even try.
Anyways, so if they go out on the same round, we would just basically the winner would be whoever won the game between the regular season game between the Packers and the Steelers. Simple. That's the tiebreaker. If the game ends in a draw, well, I guess we still have the bet. Original.
All right, well, in that case, I accept your bet. And I
shake on
suppose
it.
we now have two. Well, virtual shake on it.
Oh, what are we doing?
Okay, so it's official now.
Yeah, we just shaked on it. Anyways,
We did indeed.
I just read a really
So,
funny
now-
joke.
Is
Sorry, don't mean to
it
cut you off.
advertiser friendly?
Yeah, it's this joke that's like in Infinity War, Tony Stark says that the Iron Man suit is made out of nanobots, when this is actually not true. It's made out of CGI.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's CGI projected in the movie. Duh, they don't have actual nanobots.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't? Well, now you know. The more you know, man.
This is actually an
more you know.
educational podcast.
Educational podcast. Oh my god.
But yeah, I don't.
Yeah, we're.
Do you have any topics? Because I feel like the bet took already all of the talking points.
Yeah, which is kind of the thing. I mean, we had this big anticipation of like the bet being like this
The bet,
big topic, and
bet,
they're like,
bet,
oh,
bet,
okay,
bet,
yeah, we'll do that. Sorry, the bet being the thing, but as it turns out, like we've already talked about it and agreed to it.
Yeah.
So I kind of have a segue of sorts, not from the bet, but 2.0. Not really from that, but I figure we could discuss something we never talked about here on this podcast before. I don't think we've ever
Religion.
covered it. No, we've done that. Remember the KKK?
Man, those guys were really into religion. Like they burned like crosses
I
and
know,
stuff.
it's insane.
It was crazy.
I was more so thinking, Emilio, are you a big gamer by any?
No.
You're not? Okay, so you've probably
I
taken
told you
more
I'm not
L's
in
than
the
what you care to admit
KKK.
in life. You. What about video game?
Uh, no, I'm not a gamer. I mean, I like some games,
You
but I'm not as into it. Like I only play League of Legends and
League of
Minecraft,
Legends? Get out of here. Doesn't make you a real gamer.
and
I mean,
I
my
really
God.
like phone games.
Phone get
I play Among Us during class.
disgusting, dude. Disgusting. That is gross. How could you even say those words? How could you even fathom to call yourself a gamer with phone games? What kind of phone games do you play?
Among Us.
Um, okay, I'll give you that one. I've actually been playing that one.
It's so addictive.
So I'll give you that one.
I love
But other
being an
than that, though,
imposter. I really enjoy killing people.
yeah, I think okay. So I guess this is something we could talk about, like trendy. I think the concept of trendy games would actually like podcast topic, and this is something with Among Us. Among Us and Fall Guys are like the two most recent examples.
Yeah.
Fortnite was the big one, like 2017,
I
2018.
saw a meme that was
We all
like, it's the Scarlet Witch Thanos meme where it's like, you took everything away from me. And Scarlet Witch is Fall Guys. And then it turns to Thanos and it has the Among Us logo and it says,
yeah.
bro, I don't know. I was just doing
I don't
electrical
even know
work.
who you are. There was another meme that I'd seen that that death meme, like death takes away
Oh
like
yeah,
dead memes
you're
and
being
trends to
kind
the
of
afterlife.
sus.
There was like you're being kind of it's shit. What did he say first? He said something like it's time to go. No, you. It's like what? It's like why? You look kind of sus. Death was not the imposter. One imposter remained. I love that movie. It's so good.
I can't wait
But
for the movie.
among undoubtedly there will be a dude if they're gonna make a Minecraft movie, which they're legitimately making by the way. That's no
They've
joke.
been
And a
saying
Super
that
Mario
since
movie.
like 2000 and something. Same thing with the
They're
Super
apparently
Mario. I mean, they already did Super Mario.
apparently no one talks about that movie. They're making like an actual Super Mario movie, like an animated modern day Mario. The Mario movie that came out in the like '87, that was based off of like the old NES Mario, not the Mario that grew after that, and it was terrible, might I add. Like one of the worst movies of all time, kind of bad. Which oh my gosh, just from what I've seen from that movie, I don't think I've watched it, but it looks awful. Bowser doesn't look like Bowser. Characters look off. It's a terrible attempt at CGI. Oh my
I've
gosh.
never seen it. I've just watched other people talk about it. There's days I'm like,
And have they all said it's bad?
yeah. There's days I'm like, I'm gonna watch it like ironically, but I'm just too lazy to actually sit through it because it looks so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't bother with it. Like, in all honesty, okay, so Mario Bros. Is one example of like a video game tie-in movie or a movie in general that shouldn't exist. And the next movie I'm gonna list here that comes to mind, since we're talking about really horrible movies, one movie that never needed to exist in the first place. And no, I'm not gonna say the Emoji Movie because that's too easy. Cats was a movie that does not need to
That's also
exist.
too easy.
Oh, no, that's not. That is like a way better example than the Emoji Movie. The Emoji Movie was bad, but that movie was at least salvageable with the animation. Cats was just horrible in every way possible, although I am still waiting for the Butthole Cut edition. So
I
that
can't wait for
might
that.
save this movie's reputation.
I'm
The
still
Butthole Cut might
I'm still
save it.
thinking we should talk about something more clickbaity. 'Cause we really did.
Cats, the best movie ever. Cats, Butthole Cut edition, like reveal date or something like that.
Surprising best friend with secret cats version.
with Cat's Butthole edition or something like that.
Emotional.
Emotional cries. Oh my god.
I don't know, man. I've realized that. Well, we mentioned the infamous vasectomy episode, and it's on its way.
That's probably
It's on its way of becoming our most listened to episode across all audio platforms.
Is it actually? See, that's something I was
Yeah.
curious about, like the stats with some of these passes. The vasectomy one was like probably one of the most fun current podcasts I think we filmed.
I think that's when we
Like
peaked.
it just came out of left field. I don't think that's when we peaked. I think that's like when we For those of you who didn't know, me and Emilio a little while back did an episode where we eventually talked about vasectomy.
Everything
By the
goes
way, that
back
was
to
not
this episode. Everything.
I'm just saying, vasectomies, that wasn't even the intended topic. We just happened to bring it up and just rolled with it toward the end. That was the funny thing about the entire episode, was that we weren't even originally going to talk about it, but then we just kind of segued into it, and then we looked up cheap vasectomies. As it turns out, there's some pretty cheap vasectomies out there. So I'm not surprised that one ended up... Wait, hold on. Why are so many people looking up a vasectomy podcast?
I mean,
Why?
people are curious.
Maybe you guys need to know where the... I think they heard about that we know where the cheap vasectomies are. They were too lazy to do a Google search. So they just listened to the entire podcast to that one part toward the end.
When you
Or we bring
Google,
up the cheap vasectomy.
when you Google cheapest vasectomies by country, it's just our podcast pops up.
Trash Talk Podcast. It's like, I'll check that out. Hey, this is a vasectomy tutorial.
Nice.
What's this shit? Get out of here.
Oh man,
I have to ask, what's the second most viewed podcast episode? Or listened to?
There's two different stats, right? On YouTube, the podcast struggles a lot, but the most viewed episode is the being a stripper during quarantine or something.
Being a nudist during quarantine or something like that.
On my second channel, that's the most watched video of 2020.
Oh my god. That means we need to do more nude episodes.
And the
We
current
can talk about nudism.
the current most listened to episode on audio platforms is the Return podcast. Remember that episode we filmed in 2019?
Yeah. Oh my god. Did not expect that one, to be honest, though, out of all of the episodes.
I
Did not expect that one.
I think it has the most views because it
Because it's the return or something like that.
No, because it's been up the longest, right? So it raked up more views than the others. And also it has the longest title because it's not just the Return podcast. It's like everything we talked about on the title. Whereas with the other podcast, I just do like a clickbait title, like taking out something that we said out of context.
I mean, but that still works, though, at the same time. Because it is something we still talk about in the episode. See, we're giving you guys a bit of, like, an in-depth look into some behind-the-scenes thoughts of ours. Yeah. And, like, stats and all that stuff. More than the podcast can say they do that.
Yeah, actually,
I don't know of any.
I'm very disappointed because the other day they did the top 10 most influential podcasts. And our podcast wasn't included. I was very shocked.
What?
We tackle
many
upset. Issues on this podcast. We tackle automobiles, men's health, hentai.
Hentai was a big one.
The life of a male stripper.
We talked about OnlyFans accounts. We talked about cars that will kill you. We talked about terrible experiences that almost killed us. We talked about politics and not voting for people. We talked about vasectomies, as we mentioned earlier.
Gay marriage.
I mean, we talked about marrying each other to get Emilio a green card. I mean, hello. We're tackling the major issues.
Yeah. I feel
you guys need to focus on that.
Not even political podcast or even
there wasn't like a specific podcast. But there was one podcast that we did that we talked about, like, political views and elements at one point. That's one that we did do. I feel like, you know what I feel like this episode is? It's like a retrospective episode. Kind of like talking about, like, past episodes we've done and, like, feelings of ours. I think it's, like, more like a retrospective on, like, the
finale.
Season finale. And then we're going to wait until 2022 in order to film the next season. It'll be 2 years.
Will
Ryan, like, oh, yeah, that's right. We did that podcast.
Will Ryan ever pay his alimony debt?
We'll be able to trash talk Where They Now episode.
Will Emilio ever stop interrupting Ryan when he's talking? All this in
probably not, which is why I have
all this in a brand new season of Trash Talk.
You know what? At that point, I'm just gonna find out like what happened in between the season finale and the new season. You just started up a new podcast with like the greatest title ever, Trash Talk 2. It's not Trash Talk, it's Trash Talk 2.
We already did that. Remember season 2 was called Trash Talk 2?
Trash Talk 3.
Do you realize that it's like the Spider-Man movies? where it's like
Oh my god.
when you say Spider-Man 2, it now refers to 3 different movies.
Gosh. Okay, so that means we have to differentiate by the Tobey Maguire movies, the Andrew Garfield movies, and the Tom Holland movies.
Yeah. We're currently in our Andrew Garfield phase, so like
I hope not. This is the worst thing.
We'll suck kinda, but you'll just tolerate us because it's like it could be worse.
It's like true. And then at some point, then we're gonna get to the Tom Holland stage, and then we'll have pretty consistent appearances in movies, which actually is really good.
And then we'll have an animated version that will be the Miles Morales version, and it will be.
See, that's something that I would.
two completely
that would be
different
hilarious
hosts.
if we actually got one day.
Ryan's
That's something
dead.
we need to do. Trash talk animated. We just needed to get like an animated like episode or something. Like, like get an animator off of YouTube and just commission them. It's like, hey, can you do like a few minute like episode of like us animated in our podcast?
It's like, here, dog, animate a 40-minute podcast.
I say we just take like a 3-minute or 2-minute episode and just take specific clips and whatnot, and then just have them animate that. I think that would be better.
Okay. Actually, speaking about animation, if you guys are interested in working for free, Ryan is looking for an illustrator.
Screw you. No. For those of you who don't know, which you wouldn't know because Emilio and I have talked about this outside the podcast, I had a friend who helped me out on some game reviews I did on my second channel, The Nostalgia Factor, in the past. Custom thumbnails that put, like, you ever see those YouTubers that review video games and they, like, have them where, like, they're animated, but they're, like, in the game, like, they're reviewing Animal Crossing and, like, they're a villager or something like that, and they're, like, in the village or whatever. No. I'm looking for somebody who'd done that, and I'd asked Emilio if he could help me out, and of course, you know, if he knew anybody, because there was someone who helped me out, but he doesn't really do YouTube anymore. So, but he was a very nice guy, and he made good content, and he was very passionate about, like, D&D and all these other kind of videos that he made.
You could
like,
just
nerd-based, like, movie reviews.
You could just ask Devious Ditto. He does drawings now.
Does he actually?
Yeah.
Oh, crud. That's right. Didn't we do, I swear I did a collab with him, actually.
Yeah, we both did that.
Yeah. Did you do the Pokemon card one?
No, I did like a Pokemon Stadium thing.
I don't think mine was a Stadium thing. Mine was like an online Pokemon game. Like I battled against.
Yeah,
and we talked like over Skype.
That's the one.
So you did that too.
Yeah.
So I completely forgot about that. But yeah, I was just looking for anyone who could do that because again, I'm trying to make better quality, like especially for my game reviews, because that's probably one of my favorite types of videos I make on my channel, besides like random memes or skits or whatever, like comedy kind of videos, which I need to think of some more ideas for, because a lot of that gets channeled onto this podcast instead of into the videos.
Anyways,
but if anyone out there's interested,
our YouTube channel, I recently had a video that got 500 views, and I'm very happy. I interviewed this guy that we actually did a podcast once with. It was very funny because we talked about that. It's the episode where everything goes wrong. We've talked about this infamous episode where I gave Ryan the wrong time.
Was that the same guy?
Yeah.
I watched your video. Was that the same guy? Oh my.
Yeah, dude, I even put a clip of the video.
Like he did.
Well, because he's older now.
I mean, yeah, this was actually like a few years ago, so that would make sense.
He said,
you could actually hear him and not have terrible reception.
It was so funny to me because he said, "You still do the podcast, right, with a chubby white guy?" I was like, yeah.
Chubby white guy? Is that what he said?
That's him.
He's like, fuck you. If you're watching this, screw you, chubby white guy. I'll have you know that I'm lightly tan. Yes. The light didn't help my case there at all. It just looks more.
People often confuse us, actually, because of that.
What, confuse you and him?
You and me.
How? How does that happen?
Because we're both really tan.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyway. That is true. Well, there was a slight difference. We both wear glasses.
Yeah. For everybody listening, like our Irish viewers that don't watch our YouTube, wait.
It's like, wait, what's going on here? Are you telling me white? Are you telling me? I thought he was Canadian. No.
For everybody that thought Ryan was Asian, he isn't. I was shocked too.
Yeah, Emilio, he never bothered to reveal that to anybody. Every time I walk down the street and they're like, "Hey, are you the guy from the Trash Talk podcast?" It's like, "Yeah, man, you're more white than I thought."
Yeah,
I get that all the time.
yeah. I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sorry too. But you know what? It is what it is. I have been actually mistaken though for somebody else though in public before.
Yeah, the guy
Which is
from the bookstore.
weird. Yep, exactly.
We've talked
That's like
about
the
this.
biggest doppelganger case, I guess, ever for me.
Anyways, so on that video that I posted, Ryan comments, "You should do an interview, the OnlyFans interview."
Oh, yeah. When's the OnlyFans interview? Because I'm like, well, you did the tick. Oh yeah, Emilio copped out, and you know why it got a lot of views? It's because it was a fucking TikTok video. That's why it got so many views.
Jealous?
I know because I did a TikTok skit that got a lot of views at the time. Because it was a TikTok video. So when's the OnlyFans interview?
I'm actually very much interested in doing a "their life was ruined by OnlyFans" sort of video. But I don't know anyone that actually does OnlyFans.
Oh, okay, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
It's like we do the running gag that Ryan has an OnlyFans, but guys, we're just joking.
But the truth is,
the
I have
sad
a secret
truth.
OnlyFans I never told Emilio about. He thinks I don't have an OnlyFans, but in all reality, you know, I gotta pay my alimony debt somehow, guys. You know, OnlyFans is the best way for me.
Oh man, sorry.
They call me the One Pack Wonder. Don't look it up. Don't look that up. You won't like what you see.
But no,
Don't Google it.
I'm really
You have to pay for
interested in
those.
doing the OnlyFans interview. But if you're listening to this video, or I mean podcast, and
Yeah, if you're listening to this podcast and you're on OnlyFans, let us know.
let us know. But yeah, and the last episode was actually very interesting because we had my friend, my best friend from my hometown, over here on the podcast, and I thought it was gonna
Yeah,
be
he was actually a pretty cool guy.
super awkward experience because he doesn't know a lot of English, and I thought, oh my god, Ryan's super racist, so he won't tolerate it. Just kidding.
I'm just... Hey, that's only for Canadians, all right. Let's reserve that hate for Canada, all right.
Oh,
Sorry, Canada.
Canada. Luckily, nobody there listens to us.
Thank
to-
goodness. I
to
can
our,
say whatever I want about Canada. Canada sucks.
To our Irish fans, those British people, huh?
Yeah, those British. Let me tell you, they don't make as good potato salad as you guys do. You guys grow the best damn potatoes.
Is it actually PC to like talk about potatoes to Irish people like that? Because I thought it was like
I
super
don't
offensive.
know, man. I think it's honestly, I think like a lot of them just don't care because it is legitimately part of their history. But at the same time, though, it is also a stereotype. Like joke or
Yeah.
otherwise, it is a stereotype. If we're honest, it is.
So I don't know. Whenever
Whether or not they find it offensive is
yeah.
another thing.
Kiss me, I'm Irish.
I wear green all the time, guys. Don't worry. I believe in leprechauns
Yeah.
giving chocolate to kids.
I learned a lot about Irish culture the first time I went to America because my uncle's boyfriend was his family's Irish, so I learned a lot. It's like, oh wow,
Wow.
so you guys
That's
really
pretty cool.
like green.
I actually, no. Well, you know, that's cool that you met somebody that's of Irish heritage. Me, I actually learned quite a bit early on when I was a kid about, like, Irish culture.
Well, yeah, you
My
live over
mom... Well, no, I don't... Yeah, I'm clearly from Ireland, everybody. Now, you can clearly tell. I'm going to pull out a raw potato and
there.
just take a
Ryan
bite out of it.
McBittner.
At one point. Ryan. So many different identities. You guys have no idea. Well, I learned mine because my mom came home and brought me something that was of really good Irish culture, and that's what kind of got me propelled. The first time I ever ate Lucky Charms, let me tell you, that was probably the best Irish experience I've ever had. I learned a lot about Ireland that day.
Did you know that there was more Irish people living in the States than in Ireland?
Actually, I'm not surprised by that, to be honest, because I have heard about Ireland in past years, people leaving for political reasons and for just the whole economy of the place is kind of going down. It's mostly government stuff, from what I gather, but
Yeah,
there's probably like some social things here and there too. Well, that's why a lot of them left for like Britain, for example.
that is true. Do you know your heritage,
Sorry,
Mr. McBitner?
who me?
Yeah. Do you know like
Mr.
I'm guessing English,
My
right?
family lineage? Yeah, actually, most of my family, from what I gather, there was a few British in there. There was even a few Irish in there as well. But most of my family descent comes from most parts. It's mostly German. My family, as far as like
Herr
family
Bittner.
descent, it's German, Irish. There's some British in there. There's some other things in there I don't remember, but I know it's mostly German, from what I gather. When they came over to the country a long time ago.
Just really white.
Yeah, I'm tan,
Oh
slightly
yeah.
tan. We're not white is racist. You can't do that. I'm
Oh,
slightly
sorry,
tan.
buddy. Don't say the W
Thank
word.
you. Wasabi.
Oh,
White.
I don't know.
Damn it.
I've recently been very curious about my heritage because I don't know. Like, it's kind of hard to trace it back because I've talked about this. How my dad's side of the family is white,
Oh,
and my mom is brown. So all I know is that on my
dude,
dad's side, yeah,
I just had I had a fantastic idea. Your family lineage you don't know about? This is the perfect opportunity to get sponsored by Ancestry.com. Dude, this is like a prime sponsorship.
yeah. Actually, that actually leads me to my next portion of the podcast. Uh, no, but I only know
Ancestry.com.
my European heritage. I only know that it's from Spain and France, and that's it. And like I know that I have
I can see.
African heritage and native Mexican, I think it's called. That's the proper term. But I don't know specifically which tribes, like which regions in Africa, because, well, slavery, and they kind of lost those documents. So I'm kind of screwed.
And he's like, well, you know what? There's always time travel. You can always go back in time
I
and find
just
out what's going on. Become
travel
your
in
own
time to
grandfather.
Africa and like, hey, are you my uncle? Like, yeah.
Oh my! What would be really bad is if you go back in time and try to find out about like where your family came from, but you end up trapped there, so you became your own grandfather.
Oh
You
my.
grandfathered a generation that would later have you. The grandfather paradox. Oh my god,
That
that'd be
would be
awful.
crazy.
Yeah, that would be cringe. You're like, well, looks like I'm gonna be making myself in the future. Nah.
But that's kind of disgusting. That means I have to bang my great 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 grandmother.
You won't know that at the time. You'll just do it and be like, well, I'm already in it. Might as well go all the way.
Sweet home Alabama. Du, 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 du.
I mean, just start playing. Yeah, just bring like an iPod with you and just start playing that in the background, like the last few bits of energy.
Well, okay. So here's an interesting question. What would you do if you had a time machine, or would
If
just
I
the
had a time
ability
machine,
to time travel?
okay, like where would I go? What would I do? Kind of deal.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The title of this podcast is gonna be "Banging My Great Great Grandmother to Maintain the Lineage."
That's perfect. I feel like that's the perfect segue. It's like, what the fuck are these guys on this time? Click.
It's that or
Um,
Ryan isn't white.
Ryan Tan's white. He doesn't. He's a white guy. He can't tan.
That would be like a very cool sketch of like Ryan discovers that he had family in China or something, and
Oh my god.
and it's just
That'd be funny.
Ryan trying to enter Chinese culture and like failing.
I try and fit in, but I fail. I just stab myself in the face with chopsticks the instant I walk out of the airport. Just trip and fall on chopsticks. Like, nope, I'm going home.
Meet your
This
long
isn't
lost
working.
Chinese family.
Oh god. Turns out I time traveled to China and I'm actually the great grandfather I meet right out of the gate. You look familiar. I know. I'm you. What the fuck? Like,
And at the end, it
Why?
turns out that there was a misprint in like your birth certificate, so it's some other Ryan Bittner.
I'm like, wait, you're not me from the future? No. I'm just gonna leave now. Bye. If I could, I've actually asked myself this question in the past.
If you're
That's a hard
Chinese,
one. No, I'm not going back in time to China. That's not where I'm going to go. Honestly, I have two possible answers for this. One for me personally, for what I would like to do, like early on, and there's another thing that I guess I would visit historically. I guess the first thing that I do might sound kind of niche, but I'd go back in time to like when gaming, like old systems and stuff were out, and they were more accessible, like rare games and merchandise and stuff. I go back in time to like the early '90s and stuff like that, or like the late '90s, early 2000s, and just
90s
collect a bunch
kids.
of games over the years and then just take it back to the present with me and deck out my game room with it.
I mean, that's
So that's
basically
kind of what I do for like myself.
like the Biff thing, right? From Back to the Future, where he takes the almanac to his past
Yeah.
self.
Mm-hmm. He's like, you can use this to like get rich and all that other stuff.
I don't know. I feel
But
like
as far as like
yeah, no, never mind.
historical, I don't. I was gonna say that's what I would do for me personally for like something I wanted to do. Historically, that's a hard one. I mean, there's so many different points in history that you could go to that you would want to see. I have to think on that one because I'm honestly not sure.
I mean,
What about you though?
what I would do is I would travel to 2017, and right when I'm gonna hit reply on this post I found in a Facebook group where it says, "Hey, I'm looking for some people to collab on a podcast," I'm gonna travel and tell my younger self, "Don't reply to that." And he's looking.
Don't do it. It's like, why? This is what will happen. It shows a picture of me. Oh, what's that? This is who you do it with. Don't post that.
Just show them the vasectomy episode, and my past self is
He's
just
like, do you want this for your future? Your past self probably be like, hell yeah.
That's fire, dude.
It'll
Why
just
would I
backfire
pass on that?
He's like, you just backfire completely. You're like, do you really want to talk about a vasectomy in a podcast with this guy? Hell yeah, vasectomies, that's a dope ass topic. Let's do it.
People in Ireland are going
That'll
to
actually
love
just-
it.
Yeah, they are. See, this is the part of the podcast where we need to start planning out Vasectomy Volume 2, where we just do another episode centered around different kinds of vasectomies and where you can find really cheap and effective ones.
Um,
And just see how many people it's like, Ireland, this episode's for you.
Anyways, no, I wouldn't. I mean, I talked about it, and I think, like, when I went to Mexico City, and for those of you who don't know this, so the story of Mexico City is kind of long, but eventually, okay, I'll tell it. So there was so, so there was this group of people called the Mexicas, or the Aztecs, or whatever you want to call them, and they had a big issue because they had just married one of their princes to another tribe, and to celebrate the union, they all started watching hentai. It's crazy. and, and to celebrate the union, the groom peeled off his bride's skin and wore it as a dress and celebrated the marriage with it. And when the other tribe got hold of this, they kind of got angry. I'm not gonna lie. Would you be angry if they
kill his wife and wore his skin?
Yeah. So now they had a big issue, and they had to escape. So their leader had a dream in which one of the gods told him, "You have to find a place where an eagle is eating a snake on top of a cactus. That's where you will build the new city." So they traveled all through Mexico. Eventually, they arrived at a lake, and in the center, there was an eagle eating a snake on top of a cactus. And they were like, "Bro, are we really going to build this on top of a lake?" They're like, "I don't see the big issue." So they built an entire city above the lake. And then, it stood there for like a few 600 years. And then the Spanish came in, and they conquered the Aztec Empire, and they were like, "Well, the city's really pretty. What if we kept it?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And I'm like, "What about the floodings?" And instead of saying, maybe we should move the city, but instead they opted for like, yo, what if we drain the lake with a bunch of buckets? so
It's gonna take you forever, man. Oh my
so
god.
they did that,
Why?
but they didn't consider that now the city, to this day, is constantly sinking. So my plan is to travel back in time and tell those Spanish people like, yo, don't. That's
Don't do this.
it.
It's not gonna work.
It's not
Just blow up the city at this point. You've already conquered it.
just like leave it there and I don't know, build something else. And that's what I would do.
Yeah, you're gonna use your diplomatic skills to just go up to him and be like, "Yo, don't do this," and just walk away and leave. Just time travel back to 2020.
Do you realize that you could be a god if you time traveled? Because like even if you just show them, not even your phone, like you can show them the most mundane thing you can think of, like this thing, like a whiteboard eraser, and they're gonna be like,
Xbox controller,
yeah.
Xbox 360 controller, be like, "Yep,"
Yeah.
or this coaster. Although, nah, probably not.
Do you think they had coasters in the 1500s?
I wouldn't be surprised if they had their own version of coaster. They
You-
probably wouldn't be all that impressed. At the end
You
of the day.
just time travel to the 1500s and there's just a bunch of ring holes. It's like water rings everywhere.
You know what would be the most epic prank, I think, with time travel? Like, if me and you were getting ready to go back, and you're like, "Hey, man, film me going back to the past for an episode where I convince them not to destroy this ancient city, the Spanish." And I'm just like, "Oh, okay, sure." And I'm prepping the time machine, but I may just make it a one-way trip. So when you go back to the 1500s, you're stuck back there
That would
with
be
the
horrible.
Spanish.
'Cause I'd
I'd be like, "Ha, pranked you," and it goes
Dude,
viral.
that would be horrible because I'd be a slave. Like if I did that to
I
you,
mean, you know.
you'd be like a god. They'd be like, "Oh wow, this guy is 10,
This
and
guy's slightly tanned.
but they're gonna see
He
me and they're
clearly
gonna
knows
send
the
me to
land.
the rice fields." Hell no.
The funny thing is, you just somehow become immortal from time travel, like Samurai Jack style, and I just see you like 500 years in the future, and you just come back in your room at that exact moment. You'll be like, "You son of a bitch!" It's like, who are you? I'm 500 years older because of you. I'm going to kill you. Got him. Best friend turns 500 years old. Why?
Ben friend slave prank gone wrong.
Time travel sabotage gone wrong.
Oh man, that's kind of my biggest fear with time travel. If I go to like some place, because I mean people are still very racist to this day, but way back then they were much more.
Yeah, even back then, I can see that historically speaking.
Yeah, I mean
It's unfortunately
if I showed up with the Aztecs, I'd be so tall, much more taller than them, so I'd be a god to them. Like, whoa, it's the mountain man.
whoa.
Or
Oh my.
I guess you could do like time travel to a place where they take a famous photo and you show up with 2020 fashion. You show up with 2020
Okay, if you could photobomb one famous photo, what photo would you photobomb?
There's this picture when World War II ended, and there's a sailor kissing a woman. I'd just show up and be like,
I thought you were just gonna say I'm gonna throw the woman out of the way and kiss the man instead, instead of the woman, and they just run away.
yeah, and then they kill the man.
I mean, probably like, "Are you kissing a child?" Well, it was supposed to be this woman over here, but this guy came over, and stuff happens.
Hey man, it was a crazy ass night.
Oh my gosh, I know. I think I know what photo. I think I know what picture I'd photobomb. In a way. Probably like the Lee Harvey Oswald photo, like right before he got shot, the guy who assassinated JFK. I just show up in the background with like piece of like dab or something like that in the background. Just do this, and not even
the
just like,
president's
am I doing
brains
it
in
right?
the background. Just like,
It's just me like I'm trying to dab, but I just look over like, did you get the shot?
I feel like I don't know if I would go to the Kennedy assassination. I don't think that would be like.
I mean, I'd go in the aftermath of the assassination.
Why?
Before Oswald being away. Just because, like, I don't want to be there for, like, when the president gets shot, but, like, the guy who killed the president gets shot, like, when he's being escorted, I just appear in the background, like, sup? How you doing?
Have you seen that meme that's
Or,
like, time machine is invented, and they give, like, a dumb reason, me, and you go, you're like, no, PewDiePie, don't say that word.
yeah, exactly, yeah. The funny thing, you know, time travel could be kind of fun. Like, if you just go back in, like, 2010 and just, like, screw with people, be like, I'm from the year 2020. Oh, no, what happens then? Dude, the whole world's dead. The aliens came. I'm the last survivor. I came here to warn you. Like, so-and-so, like, don't let the Emoji Movie be made, because that helps lead the aliens to Earth. What's the Emoji Movie? You'll find out. Just stop it from happening.
Or like, no, Harambe, you've got to move. Don't help that kid.
Oh, gosh. No, kid, don't fall in that pen. No.
Don't get so close
no
to
government.
me.
It's like, no, government. Pepe is not a hate symbol. Don't do it. Oh my gosh. There's so many dumb things you can do with time travel.
No, Emilio, don't tell Ryan about the vasectomy story.
I'm just gonna go back to my past self. No, Ryan, don't make the OnlyFans account. It's gonna be a shitty running gag on a podcast you're gonna do.
No, Ryan, don't get married. It's gonna be a shitty running gag in a podcast you're gonna do.
No, Ryan, don't. Wait, no, put the condom on this time. You're gonna have 7 kids.
Oh yeah, I forgot we talked about Crow Marty on that episode. And that guy has like 50 kids, right? Or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He had to ask for a loan from the New York Jets in order to be able to pay alimony.
Gosh, man. It's insane, let me tell you. Just the amount of kids one man could have in that kind of field especially is insane.
Does my man not know condoms exist, or does he not own a
don't
TV?
Think he does. No, he doesn't own either of those things. I very much doubt it.
You think that guy like does it during commercials? It's like, oh, commercial break. Time to have my 50th kid.
Just goes in the back room in between the innings and has a kid per Super Bowl. One for every Super Bowl. Or at least one like during the commercial break. Which means like 5 kids a Super Bowl at least.
You think in 2019 he only had 3 kids and everybody tells him, oh, what, you were busy or something?
It's like, no, I haven't been busy enough. Time to get to work. And he has like 50 kids in 2020.
You're taking it easy tonight?
It's like, who says anything about taking it easy? I'm going all the way.
Well, everybody, I feel like we've peaked. We're only talking about Crow Marty, apparently. I think it's a good moment to end the podcast. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
Yeah. Honestly, guys, this entire podcast, as you can tell, was cleverly planned out by me and Emilio. When we said we didn't have a topic, when we talked about multiple random things like time travel and alimony and all these other weird things, me being tan, this whole thing was just a lead up to say, wear a condom. Right, this is a PSA podcast.
This episode is sponsored by Trojan.
I'm wearing 2 on my feet.
I know that you guys might be surprised, but we don't wear condoms a lot of the times. I know, huge shock that you guys thought we do.
I know, right? The guy with like 15 kids, I know it's insane that he doesn't wear one, but you know. Trojan's the reason why I am so for people wearing them. I don't want them to end up in my position with growing dead and having multiple mouths to feed because he didn't know when to, snap it in place.
Well, I have chlamydia.
So we'll have to rectify that in your medical records for when the wedding rolls around. So we're going to have to fix that bit. So thanks for bringing that up now.
Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching the Trash Talk podcast. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We actually are going to start posting clips from the show on TikTok. I'm going to be trying it out. So if you see us on your For You page, give it a like and a follow. And you could also check us out on Spotify, Pocket Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. If there's a podcast platform, we're probably on it. And if you want to see our beautiful faces reacting to me interrupting Ryan, you can check us out on YouTube, Smelly Cheese B. That's my second channel. And you can check me out on my regular channel, Smelly Cheese, where I post videos about whatever the fuck I want. And you can send us a voice memo on Anchor.
And you may be featured in a future episode. If you guys want to check me out on Instagram.
Cut. We got to do that again.
Damn it.
Sorry, buddy.
Is that the part where the podcast just ended, like, right before it gets to promote it? So I was like, hey, no, and sorry, we ran out of time. The storage space on my computer is filled up.
But yeah, send us a voice memo. Anyways.
Send us a voice memo, ladies and gentlemen, and you may be featured in an episode. If you want to check me out on a social media, check me out on my Instagram at Rian Bittner, RianBittner. Check me out on The Boss Official on YouTube, where I post skits, memes, gaming-related stuff, and again, whatever the hell I want, as well as the Nostalgia Factor, where I do all your retro gaming goodness. Thank you for watching tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ryan, for being here. From everybody here at the Trash Talk Towers, we wish you a merry
Christmas.
No,
Happy
Flag
Hanukkah,
Day.
ladies and
Happy
gentlemen.
Flag Day, everybody.